Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss the Unit 5 instructional media from the mathematics. Disclaimer: the video content has been made available for informational and educational purpose only. Let's start with the satellite instructional television experiment SITE. SITE was the largest communication experiment in the use of the satellite in support of development and educational programs in modern times. The main impetus for the SITE project came from Professor P.A. Sarabhai. In 1969, India and the USA project came from Professor V.A. Sarabhai. In 1969, India and the US started an experiment called SIET by means of Application Technology Satellite ATS-6. On 30th May 1974, the satellite was launched from Cape Canaveral in the USA. The telecast via these satellites began in India from August 1, 1975. ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization with All India Radio, took the responsibility of broadcasting ETV programs to the selected villages in the six states of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan, selected on the basis of the educational backwardness. The experiment continued from August 1975 to July 1976. The instructional objectives of the site were in the fields of education, agriculture, health, and family planning and national integration. About 2,400 direct receptions television sets (DRS) direct reception television sets (DRS) deployed for the site were located in different culture, linguistics, and agriculture regions of the country. The different socio-economic environments were also chosen for the purpose. The television broadcast via the satellites were made available for 4 hours a day, 1.5 hours in the morning and 2.5 hours in the evening. Morning time were utilized for broadcasting programs for children, which were enrichment programs for the age group 5 to 12. Evening programs were directed to adults. Site covered four different language regions, but the children of other regions also watched these programs on the school days. Though the programs were meant for children, others also viewed the programs within the school. These were not based on the school syllabus but intended to provide general enrichment. The government of such states receiving site programs were responsible for electrifying the school which housed the television receiver. The content of the programs were identified by the group of educationists drawn from National Council of Education Research Training (NCRT). It was then placed before the senior officials of the Department of Education of each of the state Institute of Education Science and Technology (SIET) in their respective states. ISRO produces a series of programs in science which aim at developing scientific thinking. Production Studios was also set up by ISRO in Bombay, and its staff developed one of the educational series. The programs were checked at three base production centers: Delhi, in, which is in Hindi, Cuttack in Odia, and Hyderabad, Telugu, and Kannada. The format of the program was the lecture demonstration followed by documentary, drama, and discussion. Before approaching the program for the broadcast purpose, a few prototypes were produced and pre-tested in different villages. The purpose of the pre-testing was to test the acceptability of the programs. The experience during the site period was quite encouraging for further expansion of television services in the country. Government decided to start the site continuity community viewing program. 40% of the village were provided community viewing facility in six site clusters areas by setting terrestrial transmitters. This was possible because the infrastructure existed and the studio facilities developed during the site terrestrial transmission was made available from 1977 to 1982, and the educational programs were available in the morning hours along with other programs in the evening. An important highlight for the site was the teacher training through multimedia. Nearly 50,000 teachers were exposed to this training in two installments. Experts planned the lessons. The site experiments draw attention of the world. The two international teams, one sponsored by the United Nations and the other by Commonwealth Broadcasting Association, toured the site areas and gave the favorable reactions. The Indian national satellite INSAT, the site implemented in India in 1975 to 1976, received great applause at national as well as international levels. This unique success with a borrowed satellite for 1 year encouraged India to have its own satellite. In 1977, India approved a proposal to launch a multipurpose and the space communication system of their own called Indian National Satellite INSAT. The main objective of the INSAT were to produce and transmit varied programs designed to awaken, inform, enlighten, educate, entertain, and enrich all the sections of the people in different parts of the country. To promote alternative approaches to educate for the children, youth, and adult, to stimulate interest and involvement of people in economic development, to stimulate interest and the involvement of people in economic development. What are the four main objectives of the INSAT were to produce and transmit varied program designed to awaken, inform, enlighten, educate, entertain, and enrich all sections of the people. AI 4 E's, that is, awaken, inform, enlighten, educate, entertain, and enrich all the sections of people in different parts of the country to promote the alternative approach to educate for the children's youth and adult, and to stimulate interest and involvement of the people in economic development, to stimulate an interest and involvement of the people in economic development. Actually, there is only the 3 points. The main objective of the INSAT were to produce and transmit varied programs designed to awaken, inform, enlighten, educate, entertain, and enrich all sections of people in different parts of the country, to promote alternative approaches to the education for the children, youth, and adult, to stimulate the interest and involvement of the people in economic developments. INSAT 1A was launched in its orbit on April 10, 1982, just 1 year after my birth. Insert 1A. According to India's specifications and requirement, it was designed and fabricated by the Ford Aerospace and Communication Corporation (FACC). FACC is a Ford Aerospace and Communications Corporations (USA). It was a joint venture of the Department of the Space, Post, Telegraphs, Meteorological Department, Ministry of Information Broadcasting, and Ministry of Education and Culture. All these government agencies use the satellite to reach the target groups. The Ministry of Education had a special commitment to use its facility for fulfilling the educational priorities. INSAT 1A developed mechanical snacks, and in September 1982 it ceased to function. However, INSAT 1B was launched on 30th August 1983. INSAT project covered six of the educational backward states as in the site. About 4,000 television sets were installed and commissioned. These televisions programs were telecast in the morning and evening. Morning transmission was devoted to the school education for the children in the age group 5 to 8 and 9 to 12 years. These programs were not only syllabus oriented but provided broader perspectives of the enriching the school lessons. The local Doordarshan Kendras and the Central Institute of Educational Technology (CET) NCRT New Delhi produced the programs. Evening television programs were mainly developmental and national programs and include news, films, and live telecasts. India's space programs took another big leap on July 24, 1993, when the multifunctional indigenously built satellite INSAT-2B blasted off into the space by Ariane's launch vehicle from Kourou, the French Guiana in South America. India's space program took another big leap on July 24, 1983, when the multifunctional indigenously built satellite INSAT-2B blasted off into the space by Ariane launch vehicle from Kourou, the French Guiana in South America. The INSAT-2 satellite is a multi-purpose satellite providing the space services for telecommunication, meteorological observation, and data relay nationwide, TV broadcasting, radio and TV distribution, disaster warning, distress alert sources. It has a 50 percentage higher communication capacity than the first generation of INSAT 1 satellite. Indira Gandhi National Open University Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU, established by an Act of Parliament in 1985, has an objective to take the education to the doorsteps of the students and provide education to all, irrespective of the age, region, or formal qualification. It also offers need based on vocational and professional academic programs. The university has a nationwide network of study centers which are equipped with CD and DVD players, color TV sets, besides print materials. IGNOU has full-fledged communication divisions, electronic media and a production center which produces audio and video programs and recognizes educational broadcast over televisions and radio for the benefit of the student as well as the general public. Broadcast of IGNOU educational programs began in May 1991 on the national network of Doordarshan thrice a week in the early morning. The broadcast of the audio programs began in January 1992 from Bombay and Hyderabad, and later from the Delhi and Lucknow. The IGNOU programs are syllabus based and cater to the learners enrolled in IGNOU programs. These programs supplement the self-instructional text provided to the students of the university. These broadcasts mark a major steps in the progress of the IGNOU in fulfilling its educational objectives and in the country's development. Next, we are moving to Gyan Darshan. Gyan Darshan is an exclusive and dedicated 24 hours educational and development TV channel of India. It is a joint collaborative venture of the Ministry of Human Resource Development, MHRD, Information and Broadcasting Ministry, IGNOU, UGC, CEC, NCRT, CIET, SIET, and the National Institute of Open Schooling, NIOS, Department of Space and Technology, IIT, Technical Teachers Training Institute, Department of Space, DECU, and Ministry of Rural Development, Health, Labour, Environmental, National AIDS Control Organization, NACO. It was inaugurated on 26th January 2000. EMPC of IGNOU has been identified as a coordinating and transmission agency. It offers interesting and informative programs of relevance and the values to the specialized category, preschool kids, primary and secondary school children, college and university students, youth speaking career opportunities, housewife, adults, and many others. It offers interesting and informative programs of relevance value to the specialized category, preschool kids, primary and secondary school children, college or university students, youth seeking career opportunities, housewives, adults, and many others. The technical arrangement for the Gyan Darshan is that the Earth station was set up with a 7.2 meters antenna with arrangement for the play of a pre-taped programs from the Earth room station itself, while others can be viewed from the video studio too. The microwave link to enable a live relay of the channel for EMPC to Doordarshan Kendra, Delhi, and to the source program from CET studies have been installed. The footprint of the satellite is the intensity and the GD signals can be conventionally received without any special equipment anywhere. Gyan Darshan, as it's entered in its fourth year on January 26, 2004, went completely digital. It has expanded into an bucket of a channel, namely GD1, GD2, GD3, Eclavia, and GD4 Vias. GD1 is a 24-hour channel devoted to education and distance education. The transmission of curriculum based on the enrichment programs are each of 12 hours duration. GD1 is a 24-hour channel devoted to the education and distance education. The transmission of the curriculum based on enrichment program are each of the 12 hours duration. The program of IGNOU and CAT and NCRT including NIOS are telecast for 4 hours each. IIT programs for 3 hours, CEC, UGC programs for the 2.5 hours and 1 hour each for Triple TI and adult education. It is also available in Kubant. The GD2 is devoted entirely to the interactive distance education. It is a one-way video and a two-way audio satellite-based interactive systems operating on the C brand transporter of INSAT 3C. The third channel, 3D GD3 Eclavia, is a technology channel which brings quality education to the students pursuing engineering education throughout the country. Eclavia features lectures of the course taught at the IIT situated at Kharagpur, Mumbai, Kanpur, Delhi, Guwahati, Roorkee, and Chennai. Eclair transmission 24 hours daily with 8 hours running in parallel. They are the repeated ones for the benefit of those who have missed viewing the first time. This pattern continues from Monday to Saturday. Sundays are reserved for the special interest programs on technology and science. A climate technology channel reaches every corner of the country through Inside 3C on C band, that is 74-degree east, the downlink frequency 4165 megahertz. Another channel in the circuit of Gann-Darson channel is GD4 Vias, which brings quality education to the students pursuing higher education throughout the country. The higher education in India has expanded significantly. Every district and small town of the country has colleges providing higher education to the people. Today, those enrolled for higher education account for 9 million students in nearly 13,000 colleges and 231 institutes of higher education. Another channel in Bollywood of Gang Darshan channel is a GD4 Vyas, which brings the quality education to the students pursuing the higher education throughout the country. Higher education in India has expanded significantly. Every district and small town of the country has a college providing higher education to the people. Today, those enrolled for the higher education account for 9 million students in nearly 13,000 colleges and 234 institutes of the higher education. The aim of this channel is to bridge the knowledge and the information gap in the area of higher education and provide information to all those who need it. The vision of IAS is therefore is to reach out a large number of students, teachers, and general public with the quality educational material electronically so as to address the issues of the access and equity with the quality higher education. This channel chooses those subjects which are in high demand but lack adequate number of competent teachers. It also selects such subjects which are difficult to be explained optimally by conventional classroom tools but could be effectively covered in the visual multimedia animated form for competitive examination women and the general public. The primary target audiences of the channels are the students studying in graduate and postgraduate classes in universities and colleges all over the country, particularly in small towns. The students pursuing correspondence courses, teachers teaching the graduate and postgraduate courses, and also the staff of training colleges, and the students appearing for very competitive exams watch this channel. The channel acts as a tool for the audience to take up the fresh initiative in broadening their horizon, especially in the field of career enhancement. The VIAS programs are telecasted round the clock on GD4 and some are relayed on GD1. The primary target audience of the channels are the students studying in undergraduate and postgraduate classes in universities and colleges all over the country, particularly in small towns. The students pursuing correspondence courses, teachers teaching undergraduate and postgraduate courses, also the staff of training colleges, the students appearing for various competitive examinations watch these channels. The channel acts as a tool for the audience to take up the fresh initiative in broadening and their horizon, especially in the field of career enhancement. The YS programs are telecast round the clock on GD4 and some are delayed on GD1. Next, we are moving to EduSat. EduSat, the dedicated satellite for education in India, was launched in 20th September 2004 by ISRO. The satellite was launched from Sriharikota. It is the first Indian satellite exclusively built for the use of education sector. It is the first Indian satellite exclusively built for the use of education sector. The EduSat has a life of 7 years in space, during which it will help educational institutions to provide quality education. The satellite is capable of providing high bandwidth two-way interactions by creating a private network of SIT, that means the satellite interactive terminals, and receive only the terminals, that is ROT, installed all over the country. A satellite is capable of providing high bandwidth two-way interactions by creating a private network of satellites, interactive terminals, and receive-only terminals. SIT and ROT. The interaction mode is based on the popular hypertext transformer protocol used in the internet communications that the satellite enables us to create a network through which we can share the existing resources, often called as digital repositories, in text, graphics, audio, and video formats, and also can create real-time interactive virtual classrooms, often called synchronous e-learning across the country. With both these possibilities, the potential is enormous for the education development of this country. The satellite has a 5 Q-band transponder providing the spot beam and Ku band transponder providing national beam and the six extended C-band transponders covering the regional beam. All put together covers the entire country through the national and regional beams. Some of the major institutions using the EDUSAT networks are Indira Gandhi Open University, National Council of Education Research and Training, Consortium for the Educational Communication, Vishweshwarya Technological University, Vijayan Prasar. Using the satellite communication, it is possible to interact in a real-time mode with the students through two-way videos and two-way audio systems. The relationship between the mainstream media and the emerging media. In the present age, media is considered as the most influential aspects of our life. As students of journalism, we must be reading newspaper and watching news on the television. When 24 by 7 news channels came, people were of the opinion that newspaper would die down. Even after facing tough competition with the television channels as well as from the fellow newspapers, the print media has been able to survive. The print media has not only survived but also transformed and innovated new ideas to cater to its audience. It has also been able to serve the society with apt content. Newspapers have brought innovations in the way of introduction of colors, changing the page design and others. In the same way, when internet came, some critics pointed out that people can now read news from websites. Therefore, news channels are going to face the key of declining viewership. The simple news dissemination is not enough for the viewer or the reader. They are expecting to choose what they want to read or know. They want to contribute and from their opinion into the society too. This is not the death of mainstream journalism, rather this has gave an impetus to the mainstream media to innovate themselves to provide better services. Thereafter, the mainstream media houses have started to integrate the technology into the existing system. They also want to remain abreast from their competitors. All newspapers now have their own online publication. The television channels are now lagging behind. They have started uploading videos as well as text messages in their websites. Everyone wants to present online. We now prefer to watch news on our phone instead of turning on the television. Phones are now much nearer to us than a television set. The mainstream media organizations are utilizing every forms of the emerging media to attract the attention of the users. You must have seen that television channels are using animated graphics to explain and even clearly. Though both the mainstream media and the emerging media are working closely, but they have certain kinds of similarities and differences. Let us have a look on the similarities and differences exist between them. The similarities between the mainstream media and the emerging media. The primary function of the media is to inform, entertain, and educate. The age-old print media industry has been able to meet the ever-growing demands of the readers. Newspapers and magazines of the black and white era to the present forms of glossy and colorful papers have been able to provide all kind of news to the masses. From the black and white televisions, news broadcasting to the present age of the colorful channels like the 24 by 7 news are also catering to the information-hungry audiences. Be it the traditional media or emerging or the new media, their primary job is to inform the society about the happenings. Both of the forms target the masses. More and more number of users are accepting emerging media technologies. They are joining the bandwagon either to interact or to collaborate or to contribute or simply to access the information. Every form of the media is trying to get the attention. The emerging media, just like mainstream media, informs, entertain the masses and persuade the masses. They are also critical to the development of the many areas. The mainstream media are particular the popular for their predictable forms and content. Both the forms are the main target of the masses. What's the difference between mainstream media and the emerging media? Emerging media have become the inseparable part of the human being in the recent times. The mainstream media is dependent on the emerging media to keep the abreast of the competitions in offering the services. The mainstream media is considered as the most trustworthy and reliable. We can trust on a newspaper or a television channel while accessing the news, but we cannot rely on the blog or website and raise questions on its credibility while reading the news or accessing the informations. Emerging media has an edge over mainstream media for its flexibility and accessibility. If you want to make a 3D animated images or videos, we can simply download the free software available on the internet to your desktop and can prepare it. Mass media has been able to provide the content what the majority of populations want to hear or read. Therefore, it is known as the mainstream media. It has also been able to form the public opinion from time to time on the specific issues. Due to its capability to create and distribute the content easily, the emerging media is becoming more popular than the mainstream media. These are the easier channels available before the audience to get the news either through their smartphones, tab, or iPad. Digital technology has been considered as a major factor in influencing the emerging media. Therefore, the mainstream media houses are integrating the digital technology into their process. Most of the forms of emerging media are available free of cost, but the gateway to opt out the emerging media depends on the internet. The speed of internet and the devices to access the internet are very important. The internet speed is a major concern in India. Whether we want to see a streaming video or want to listen to live concert and want to design a model, we should have faster internet connection. The emerging mass media communication in the same way as the mainstream media functions, but take the help of the digital technology. The digital devices play the major role in discharging the functions. I repeat once again, the difference between the mainstream media and the emerging media. Emerging media has become an inseparable part of the human beings in recent times. Mainstream media is dependent on the emerging media to keep abreast of the competition in the offering the services. The mainstream media is considered as the most trustworthy and reliable. We can trust on the newspaper or a television channel while accessing the news, but we cannot rely on the blog or the website or raise questions on its credibility while reading news or accessing the information. Emerging media has an edge over the mainstream media for its flexibility and accessibility. If you want to make a 3D animated images or the video, you can simply download a free software available on the internet to your desktop and can prepare it. The mass media has been able to provide the content of what the majority of population want to hear or read, therefore it is known as the mainstream media. It has also been able to form the public opinion from time to time on specific issues. Due to the capability to create and distribute the content easily, the emerging media is becoming more popular than the mainstream media. These are the easy channels available before the audience to get the news either through their smartphones, tab, or iPad. The digital technology has been considered as a major factors in influencing the emerging media. Therefore, the mainstream media houses are integrating digital technologies into their process. Most of the forms of emerging media are available free of the cost, but the gateway to opt out the emerging media depends on the internet. The speed of the internet and the devices to access internet are very important. The internet speed is a major concern in India. Whether we want to see a streaming video or want to listen to the concert, want to design a model, we should have a faster internet connections. The emerging mass media functions in the same way as the mainstream media functions, but takes the help of the digital technology. The digital devices play the major role in discharging the functions. Mainstream media and emerging media in a tablet format. The differences: mainstream media, newspaper and television channels are highly credible and we can trust them. Emerging media, various forms of emerging media are less trustworthy or everyone raises questions about the credibility of the news published on the websites. Mainstream media, the television or the newspaper, journalists or the contributors can interact with the other or with their audience or readers. The mainstream media organizers are not getting instant feedback from the users. Whereas the emerging media, the content providers in the case of the emerging media can interact with their target audience instantly. The instant feedback is an important features of this media. The mainstream media, the readers or the viewers can't get the world news easily. They have to go to any archives or the library to get the world news. Emerging media, it is easier for the viewers to search for the world news and videos with just a click of a button. News is presented to the readers in a conventional way. News is presented to the viewer in an interactive manner. The reach of newspaper and the television channels is restricted or limited to a certain geographical area. The reach of this media is not limited to any geographical limitations. There is no flexibility in getting news in the case of the newspaper. But with the 24/7 news channels, people are getting little flexibility in accessing the news. The medium is more flexible and easy to get information either through text, videos, or voice at any point of time. The access to the news is not so easy. There is no such facility to guide users to their access the information. The users are guided in every step to access the information, be it watching the interactive videos or a podcast, even a small child can access it. So the main difference is credibility, interactions with the audience. Like in emerging media, we can get instant feedback, important features. The old news, which mainstream we cannot get, but in emerging media we can get it in a conventional way in the mainstream media, but interactive manner in emerging media, limited to certain geographical areas, but it is not limited to the geographical areas. There is no flexibility, but here the medium is more flexible, and access to the news is not so easy. Here, the users are guided in every steps to access the informations. So the credibility is no, it's there in mainstream media, but not there in emerging media. Interactions, mainstream media could not, but their instant feedback is an important feature of this media. Content providers in the case of the emerging media can interact with the targeted audience instantly. The mainstream media, the readers or viewers can't get the old news, but old news they can get in emerging media with a single click. It's a conventional way, but that one is an interactive way, limited to certain geographical areas, no limitations, no flexibility, but there is a flexibility in the emerging media. The access to the news is not so easy, but here you are getting every steps to get this information. Information once published on the newspaper or broadcasted on television cannot be changed. Content at any stage can be changed if any error are noticed. Even after published, you can edit and repost it. Messages generated and produced by the mainstream media are costlier, but here the content generation distribution process are cheaper. Mainstream media have limited option to tell a story to the target audience, example text, image, visual, and sound. But emerging media use several forms to tell a story to the audience.